For other people out there that have this goal or they're on this journey, what are 2 or 3 things that you say, "This is what it's gonna take to go from 5,000,000 to 700,000,000,000," or whatever the goal is?
There's a lot of things and there's a few key things. Number one, I go back all the way to my Southwestern mantra was if you're teachable, coachable, and you work hard, you will be successful. Sounds really simple and elementary, but it's still true. Some of the ways that our whole organization is teachable, that means keeping your ego in spot, right? At the right place. You gotta have good ego, but you
Yeah.
gotta keep it in line. And I just remember a few things I learned from everybody because I woke up in this side of the industry. I never sold in Colorado. I never sold in the industry, so to speak. And there's positioning, there's framing, there's scripting, there's all the things that we had to figure out as an organization. So I just learned from everybody. I learned from our founders because they had grown up in it for 5 or 7 years prior to me, and they had a really, really good idea on what it took. I just watched them every second of the day. I watched them in meetings. I watched how they followed up and added things to it. One of the biggest things they did, I learned from our competitors. And one of our largest competitors, she was the most dynamite person in the industry for her entire company across the country, one of their top people. She owned the commercial accounts in Denver. I followed her around. She did everything right. She had a lot of years of experience on top of me, and I just watched and followed. I also just said, I'm going to be your number two. I can't go in and dethrone her right now or even share and steal that account, but I can be part of the mix. I went into everybody. I said, can I be your number two? Can I be your number two? Can I be your number two? And now we've flipped the script where we are one of the better ones in the country, but for so many years, we were not, right? But also we learned a lot from our PE partners, our private equity partners. We'll probably talk about them a little bit later. They bring a lot of expertise and we were able to work with great partners. Learn from our project directors and operations guys out in the field. They would give me customer feedback. They would give me so much insight on how we can do this or not do this and how we are beating or not beating our competition as well. So a learning attitude, the ego in check. And I think we had a really young team and our founder was a year and a half older than me. Co-founder was younger than me. So we had a lot of guys in their early 30s and mid 30s trying to grow this thing, whether it be our bankers, our financiers, people I talked about already. We just learned. We just took guidance and knew we didn't have it all figured out, but we had enough vigor, energy, and belief to keep growing.
How do you vet for coachability and teachability? That's first question. How do you vet for that? And then how do you as a leader model it?
I'm still not the expert on hiring for it. We still have our wins and not wins on the hiring side. But one thing I've realized is it doesn't have to come from the industry, but the people that have been in situations where they actually have to work as a team. We call it a team selling environment in our industry. I know most companies don't proclaim this, but there's a lot of companies where people are on silos doing their own thing. It's going to be hard to be successful in our industry if you're not team selling with your project directors, field experts that are also considered salespeople. People that understand the team selling concept, that's important to us. One of the key questions we ask in our interviews too is explain how and when you've been solely or so reliant on the execution of the team and everybody. There's sales and fulfillment in every organization. In a few industries I've been in, this one is even more relevant to that. From hiring standpoint, we don't have it all figured out, but that piece is important to us. And the service-minded mindset, we've made some mistakes there, and the more you can dive into that service is huge.
For leaders, because Stephen and I in the work we do, I can tell you, put a fork in your eye if you're not hiring coachable people, right? Number
Yeah.
one. But secondly, to have that integrity, what have you done as a leader to model that learning mindset?
I have really good relationships with my direct reports. I love being in the office. I think you got to have a love for people. Sometimes I've even been frustrated because I know I'm not out enough. I want to be around our people. I want to be around our clients. If you're in it for a title, if you're in it for just career advancement, that's fine, but you might be missing something if that's your main driver. Love being with our people, love being with our clients. And I wish I could do that more.
And I think people forget that. What do your prospects or customers need? Well, you go out there and meet with them. They'll actually tell you if you're listening. So, but that takes time. That takes getting on planes. And I know you're on a lot of planes. It takes a lot of time in cars and such. So terrific. Thank you.
We also do that when we have customer issues, challenges, and things that aren't going well. My door is so wide open. I will be in the next meeting or the next discussion on how we can engage and make that better and bring it to the right side of the business where, hey, we need to fix this. Let's do this together. How do we do it?